IPMNation.com.
Welcome, everybody, to Local Outbreak here on IPMNation.com, and this is Matt from IPMNation.com, and we're here at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. Go to thestudionh.com if you want to learn more about this very cool place, this funky gift store, gift shop, art store, all kinds of cool stuff that goes on here, and very grateful, as always, to Melissa for letting us do the show here at the studio. And of course, if you're in central New Hampshire, too, it's always important to support local businesses. And also, too, Local Outbreak sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, go to centralnhevents.com. And we are here tonight with the guys from Sons of Otto. How are you all?
Doing great.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? Tell us,
my name is Al Zimers, and I'm a bassist vocalist.
I'm simply Clay. I play drums.
All right.
Johnny Sniffer, lead guitar.
All right. Very good. And is it just a three-piece?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because sometimes not all the band members make it when we do these, and then we make fun of whoever doesn't make it. But if there's only three of you, then I guess so.
We're here.
That's all we need.
Well, so you guys are Sons of Otto, and we'll talk about the significance of the name and all that in a minute. But why don't we play a track to start off the show, and then we'll come back and chat. What do you guys want to start with?
Here's a song called Radio Girl.
All right. This is Radio Girl from Sons of Otto here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. This is Matt from IPMNation.com here at the studio in downtown Laconia. Got the guys from Sons of Otto here. So we have Al, Clay, and Johnny. And all right, so tell us about the name. Where's the name come from?
Actually, Sons of Otto comes from the TV show Sons of Anarchy. One of the characters in the show, Otto, I found to be a fascinating character, and basically that's where the name came from. He was kind of a crazy guy, and it was kind of a catchy name, and people seemed to like it, so we went with it.
Well, off air, you were talking about something about Otto that was particularly. I've never seen the show, but particularly sort of gruesome. And what did Otto do?
Yeah, Otto was in prison, and for people that follow the show, they would know. And the police were asking him to basically rat on his friends, and when they asked him the question, he basically bit his tongue off and spit it on the table. So that's really where the name came from, right there. Right there it was founded.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been together? How long has Sons of Otto been a band?
Probably been together about a year, maybe a little over a year.
Yeah, so it's a relatively new project.
Yep.
Cool. And where are you guys from?
Manchester.
Okay. All right. All three of you from Manch? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you all played in other bands before this, or?
Yeah, we're all in cover bands in Manchester.
Oh, okay.
That's how we all know each other.
What do you want to say? What bands? I'm just curious if it's anybody I know.
Me and Paul were in Damage.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was in a couple of bands. So one was called Plead Insanity, and another one was called The Droolers, which
Okay.
are a little bit more original type stuff,
Yeah.
along with some cover stuff.
Oh, okay. Now, so Sons of Otto strictly originals?
For the most part, yes. We do some covers. We do some Dead Boys. We do some Ramones. We do some old punk, mid to late 70s punk group called 999. We do we kind of pick and choose what inspires us.
Sure. Okay. But this is more focused on originals, though, than the other bands you guys have been in, it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Is that more satisfying to do originals? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all played the 3-set circuit, and then the Chinese restaurants. We've played probably every club from, in a 50-mile radius around the southern New Hampshire, northern Mass to Boston.
Yeah.
And playing 3 sets. I mean, we don't mind doing it, but
Yeah.
we'd rather go play a set on a bill with, a couple other bands, play for an hour.
Sure. Who do you guys like to play with? Are there specific bands in the area that you guys play with a lot? Or?
Well, that we're new, we've only played a couple of gigs, 2 or 3 gigs.
Sure.
So, and where we are now in Manchester, there really isn't a local music scene as far as original music.
Yeah.
So we've made some connections into the Boston area with the church and a place called O'Brien's.
Yeah.
Where we're hoping to maybe in a month or two get on a back end of a bill there and go from there.
Yeah, good. Yeah, those are both really good venues, definitely. Now, have you guys all known each other a long time prior to putting this band together? Because you've all been in the scene for a while, it sounds like. So
Yeah, we all been friends for quite a while.
yeah.
Kids, yeah.
Yeah. And what was it that made you guys decide to put this together? What led to that? Was it just kind of organic? You just seemed like a...
Well, really, we're all friends. We have a couple other friends that were in their cover band.
Yeah.
And I actually used to own a club, and they played there all the time.
Oh, no kidding.
And so one thing led to another, and then we just said, hey, the other guys had other commitments and just couldn't do it anymore, and
Yeah.
it just came to, hey, let's do our own music, and we have the same type of music that we like.
Yeah.
So we figured we'd give it a shot.
So did you own a club that did live music?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you sell it, or is it out of business, or I don't know if you want
I
to say
actually,
where it was. Or...
yeah, I did sell it.
Oh, okay. Do you want to say what it is, or
Yeah,
would you rather
it
not?
was a place called Johnny Bad's.
Okay.
It was in Manchester, right near the Verizon Center.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I love live music, and I really like original music, but
Yeah.
I understand when you own a club, you need to have cover music because that's really what people
Yeah.
want to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the most part.
Absolutely. No, that's interesting, though, because that's kind of a unique perspective. We kind of assume, or at least I assume, that the audience that listens to a show like this, it's a lot of local musicians, people who are either in the scene or are just kind of interested in the scene. So to have someone on the show who is a former club owner who's kind of seen that end of it is really interesting. So did you only have cover bands at the club when you owned it, or
No.
Okay, so you did bring in original music,
I had
but
all sorts of music, anything that would be profitable.
but was it more difficult to be profitable with the original bands in your? I mean, obviously that's kind of the conventional wisdom, but from your vantage point when you were there, did you find that, or did you find that you could make it work with original bands at the club?
You could make it work if you had a special event. Like I had like a punk night where I had a punk band from Boston, a punk band from Montreal, Canada, and another punk band from, I think they were from Southern Mass. And, like a special night where people know and you can advertise it. But otherwise, your regular customers, they want to hear, what they hear on the radio. Yeah. They want to hear Bon Jovi, they want to hear Journey, and that's when I used to go out back, because I've heard those songs so many times that if I never hear them again, it's too, it's fine with me.
Right, yeah. You can.
So we all used to jam
money.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to play at his club. We would throw in our, originals as well.
Okay.
And we'd all jam.
But,
Sure.
It sounded great there, too. It was
They were a cover band, and they did really well. I mean, they brought a nice group of people in with them.
Yeah.
And everybody liked them, and, that's basically the club scene, You don't want a band there that they might be great, but if nobody knows them,
right, exactly.
It's
kind of the if a
and
tree
there's nobody
falls in the
there, you're
forest
paying
thing.
the band, and you're losing money.
That's very tough. Yeah. Do you have so speaking from that perspective, do you have any advice for original bands who are trying to, kind of get in the door at some of these places and trying to make some money, or is it just you just got to get out there and work it, and that's it? You just got to keep pushing.
I think a lot of it's timing, and I think really for music has changed so much over the years that you really need to go to places where original music is showcased.
Yeah,
like major cities or some clubs here and there.
Sure.
Like Manchester doesn't really have anything as far as original music. Maybe Portsmouth has a little bit.
Yeah.
And some Boston and farther south.
Sure.
I think if your originals are sort of like your cover songs, they kind of mesh together. Mm-hmm. So if you're a heavy type of band and your originals are heavy, then it fits.
Sure.
You can put them in there.
Yeah, because a lot of cover bands too, I've noticed, will use that strategy where they'll play a cover set, but they'll sneak in a couple originals, and if it goes well, the people are still into it, and
Yeah, if you're playing heavy metal covers and then you throw in a jazz song there, it's
right.
Like,
Right. Although I would respect anybody who had the balls to do that, certainly, but but yeah, no, most people probably wouldn't take too well to it. Well, why don't we play another track? You guys brought some original tunes tonight. Now, is this the material that you've brought tonight? Is this an EP that you're putting out, or that you have out, or is it just stuff
it's stuff we recorded? We have a little recording studio, but we actually have somebody, producer right now with a lot of our songs, and he's remixing them as we speak.
Good. Okay, so you've got an album down the pike that's going to be coming out, or
that's
excellent.
the idea, yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of like a sneak peek, like a world premiere.
Yeah, I'm sure that I can't wait for the people to come into the windows here. I mean, I'm just waiting for once they hear it.
Well, they would if it wasn't so damn cold out.
Yeah, you're right.
We have people out in the streets. All right, well, what are we going to play next? What do you guys want to play?
We're going to play a tune called Degenerate.
All right, so this is Degenerate from Sons of Otto here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com.
Nothing in his brain.
Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. We are here at the studio in downtown Laconia. We got the guys from Sons of Otto with us tonight. And I was, before you guys got here, I was actually saying to Melissa, it's kind of funny. I didn't make the Sons of Anarchy connection because I've never seen the show, but Otto, obviously not a very common name. And next week we have Fiends of a New Republic coming in, and one of the guys in the band is Otto. Oh. So just kind of a coincidence. So the two Ottos 2 weeks in a row.
What's he play? Maybe we can use him.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who can play anything. Actually,
oh, wow.
Yeah,
he's probably too talented for us.
He's a very very talented man. But he also likes to spread himself really thin and do multiple projects. So maybe if you're looking to add somebody. But now, do you guys write together? The three of you write songs together, or how does the songwriting process work in this band? Because you're all experienced musicians, so.
I usually come up with the lyrics. These guys help.
Pretty much
starts out with a riff.
Yeah.
Starts out with a little riff.
And a lyric, and we just go from there. I mean, I think my view on music is it's all about the riff.
Catchy riffs.
There are plenty of bad songs out there with a good riff, bad words, and
right.
But if you have a good riff, how many times have you found yourself sitting in a car humming a song? You're like, why am I humming this song?
Sure.
And it's the riff.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to have that hook. Yeah. How many songs do you guys have you written as a band thus far? You've got 5 on the disc, but are there more than that?
About 20.
Oh, really? That many? That's a lot for a year. That's really good.
He keeps coming up with all kinds of ideas. So
yeah.
You can't put it out in time.
Now, is it hard to, with that much material, is it hard to narrow it down when you play out? Like if you're doing an hour set, is it hard to kind of decide?
Well, we'll usually add in some covers. We
oh, so you've really got to narrow it down then
because I mean,
wow.
If we're playing a club where we know the people really aren't going to quite understand maybe what we're playing, or maybe just not like it.
Yeah.
We have to add in some rock and roll, like
Sure.
some Nirvana or some whatever, AC/DC maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that, just so they know the tunes.
Yeah.
We don't want to, around where we've played, because we're so young per se as a band. We don't want to play all of our originals, and
right.
I'm not quite sure what the reaction would be.
Yeah. But is it hard to narrow it down as far as which originals to play? Where if you say, okay, well, we're only going to do a few originals, is it hard to, do you guys kind of all know, like, instinctively, okay, well, we should play this one and this one, or is it, do you have to kind of figure that out, hash that out?
Yeah, well, we all got our favorites that we like to play, so we kind of know what we want to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange because I think we all usually come up with the same songs, but like we've put a lot of our songs out on YouTube, like not a lot of them, but some. And,
okay,
and
cool.
To let our friends hear.
And
it's funny, they all like different ones.
Really?
It's really strange how that works. Like they'll like, wow, maybe one that we like, but maybe we try to think of what people would like.
Sure.
And what we like.
Yeah.
But we've gotten a different opinion on a lot of the songs.
Sure. Now the YouTube videos, are they videos of live performances, or are they just the audio of?
Just the audio.
No, it's pretty much just the audio.
We have some videos we are working on. We definitely want to put some videos out, and but that's going to take a little time.
Sure. Now, are you guys going to be, I mean, a lot of bands don't play as much in the winter, but I mean, once we hit springtime, are you guys going to be looking to play out a lot, or a few times a month, or have you thought about that yet? Or because you got a lot of material, you must be dying to get out and to play a lot of it,
I would say probably a couple times a month.
Yeah.
Unless somebody really wants us more than that. I mean,
right.
It all depends on where and when, to fit into our schedules, because we do have jobs.
Sure,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. But with your collective experience in the scene too, obviously you've got a lot of connections, and so it's probably be pretty easy to book shows, and so that gives you an advantage compared to a lot of bands, which is good. Yeah,
it's tough on bands to get into a club.
We gotta go to places.
Yeah. Why do you think it is that it's changed the way it has in terms of there's fewer places to play? And I mean, There's different theories on that. What do you guys think?
I think I can only go by Manchester because that's where we are.
Yeah.
I would say there's probably 5 times as many establishments as there used to be.
Yeah.
So everybody's fighting for the same dollar.
Yeah.
Which means you don't want to put some band in there that you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the same bands that travel the same little circle.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people want to hear rock anymore.
Really?
To tell you the truth, it's, nobody's really putting out good rock anymore. The only band I can think of is like Avenged Sevenfold or something like that. Is putting out good music. They don't even get airplay. So the scene is changing a lot. Do
you think the internet has a bit to do with it too? People are more apt to just stay home and go on YouTube and just watch YouTube videos of bands they like and that kind of thing.
Nobody's making albums anymore.
Why pay for it if you can just go look at it on the internet, right?
Yeah, because that's definitely changed. I mean, obviously, the internet's changed the business in terms of people, using iTunes and downloading as opposed to buying CDs. But I think there's also, it's got to have an effect on live, the live concert business too, to some extent. And it's a tough economy too. So
when I was younger, the only way you saw a band was heard a band. You went and saw them.
Right.
Like in Boston. I'm old enough to have gone to the Rat. I saw the Ramones there.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, wow.
Something
very
you
cool.
never forget.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's totally different now. Now it's, the internet and, bands only make money by touring and selling their merchandise.
Yeah, yeah. I forget. It was, I don't know if you guys know the name Larry Mazer. He manages Lamb of God. He's managed a lot of bands. I heard an interview with him where he was talking about how it used to be when he first got into the business. It was everybody made their money on record sales, and on the touring, you'd be lucky to break even. So much money was spent on the tour. So you made your money on album sales, and now it's completely flipped. You don't make any money on what you sell. With the internet, now all the money's made on touring and merch, and none of it's made on actually selling the music. So it's completely upside down from what it used to be.
It's how many shows you can play.
Right.
That's where the money's. I used to see when I had the club, you'd see the tractor trailers come in day before the show, and they'd be out of there 2 or 3 hours after the show. They're on to the next city to set up. Yeah,
because you were right next to the Verizon, right? Yeah. So you'd see that. Yeah. That was, by the way, was that a nightmare in terms of for you in terms of people being able to get into your place as far as parking when there'd be a show at the Verizon? Was that
not at all?
Really?
A lot of people thought that, but if you look outside on a normal night like this, there's nobody out.
Right. Yeah.
So if there's 10,000 people walking across the street, it's good.
Yeah.
Wherever they parked.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I was just curious. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Well, so in that respect, then, would it help you? Because if a show got out at the Verizon at 11 o'clock, would people then come to your club?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Some people never made it out of the club to go to the show.
Even better. That's awesome. Well, let's play another track from the disc you guys brought. What do you guys want to play?
What is this one, Lies?
Yeah, Lies.
Okay. Cool. All right, so this is Lies from Sons of Otto here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. We're here with the guys from Sons of Otto. Before we wrap up tonight, I want to remind everybody, of course, come to the studio. This is where we do the show. We actually record here every Tuesday night, so if you want to come down and check it out when we're recording, you can always do that too. But thestudionh.com, you can learn more about this wonderful place and a funky little gift shop here, and there's some really cool art. And in fact, Melissa just put up a new art display here on the wall that I'm looking at right now. So Melissa McCarthy, the proprietor here, and an artist in her own right. So the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia, and please support local businesses. Very, very important. And want to remind everybody, of course, too, Local Outbreak is sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, go to centralnhevents.com. You can hire Mr. Tim Martin. He does a phenomenal job. He will DJ your bar mitzvah, corporate function, shindig, what have you. And there's even a picture of him on the website, so you can see who's going to be showing up at your home. Because, that's in this day and age. You can't be too careful. No, but Tim's awesome and is a big part of what makes this show possible. And also, of course, Annie Biello at 100.1 The Planet for playing this show. You can hear this Local Outbreak Sunday nights at 10 p.m. on The Planet. And then, of course, shortly after that, it goes up on IPMNation.com, where we archive all the shows, IPMNation.com/Local Outbreak. So if you like what you heard tonight, you can download that anytime and keep it forever and ever, all the way back to the beginning of the show. Everything is there. We save everything. And guys, Sons of Otto, where do we find you online? Do you have a website or a Facebook page? Or
we have a Facebook page that's just in its infant stages. So there are some songs on there, but
okay,
we're in the process of.
Most of it's on YouTube now.
Yeah, a lot of it's YouTube music.
Okay. Do you have a YouTube specific channel, or do people just search? Or?
I have a channel, yeah.
Okay.
But you would just look up Sons of Otto NH.
Okay.
And then it would come up.
Okay, very cool. Good. And do you guys have any shows coming up, or like I said, I know this time of year a lot of bands just kind of focus on recording.
Yeah, at the moment that's what we're doing. We're just trying to get our songs down, and our producer friend is taking care of all that right now. So
we're really recording a lot. Like I said, he keeps coming up with these lyrics and just can't get the stuff out quick enough.
Really? Yeah. That's a good problem to have. Always better to have too much creativity than not enough. So that's good. And who's producing for you? Can you say you want to?
It's his name. It's actually the company name is Fat Kenny Productions.
Okay. And where from where?
He's out of Manchester.
Oh, okay. Does he have a studio in? I
believe he's got one in his where he works.
Oh, okay.
He has like his own studio.
And how do you know him?
Kenny is a musician, and it's what he does on the side. I guess he used to do a lot of did a lot of producing, and did a lot of sound for bands.
Yeah,
like pretty big name bands when they would come to Manchester.
Oh, cool. Okay,
so he's pretty experienced.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Also have another friend with a studio in Derry who has some pretty big name bands that I don't want to name just because I don't want to
hurt
anybody's privacy. But he's another guy that we may work with in the future.
Yeah, good. Oh, those are good connections to have. So absolutely. Well, guys, thanks very much for coming in tonight. This has been really cool. Literally, because it's like 10 degrees outside. But hopefully when this airs, it will have thawed. But what do you want to play to wrap up the show? We'll put one more tune in.
Our last song it's called Acoustic Bob.
Okay.
And with a little background on that, Bob is a friend of ours who was into hard rock when all of a sudden he met Travis Meeks from Days of the New. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Oh, yeah, I remember Days of the New, yeah.
And after that, Bob never wanted to play anything but acoustic.
No kidding.
So we wrote a song about him.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. Well, this is Acoustic Bob from Sons of Otto here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. Thanks, guys.
Hey, IPMNation.com.